picture using the grid method. Let's get started. You're going to need a ruler, a pen, and of course your reference picture. I'm going to start off by marking 1.5 inches apart on my reference picture, just like that. You could do 1 inch, you could do 2 inches, you could do 3, 4, whatever you want. It depends on how big or how small you want your grid. But I think 1.5 inches is perfectly fine for this specific drawing. Okay, so I've marked on both sides. Now I'm going to draw lines, connecting them, just like that. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Connect the dots. And as you can see, we are getting tiny little squares 1.5 inches apart from each other, and that's my grid. That is going to help me transfer this specific drawing or picture to my work surface. Okay, so we're done with the grid. Now I'm going to number them. So each row and column has basically a name of its own. So I've put numbers and alphabets on this side here. All right, now I'm going to use a mechanical pencil in B, and I will draw the very same grid on my work surface. So I'm going to start off by measuring 2 inches this time because I want it a little bigger. I want the very same drawing to be a little bit bigger than the reference picture. So I'm going to be measuring out 1/2 inch more. All right, now it's very important that you draw the exact same number of squares or lines that you have on your reference picture, because if you have a line more or a line less, then your drawing is not going to be very accurate. So I'm done here. I have the exact same number of rows and columns that is on my reference picture. I have the same thing on my work surface. Now, how does the grid method work? It's very easy. You're just going to look at which part of the drawing you're going to start working first. So let's say you're going to look at square 6, and you're going to just look at the 6 over there, 6A or 6B, and see what is in that little square, and you're just going to go ahead and transfer it. So I've started with 5, row 5. I like to start with the eyes. I don't know why. One thing I like to do in the grid method is that I like to draw the outline first. Some people like to go square by square and shade each square individually. They treat each little box individually. I like to treat it as a whole. It's all, personal preferences. For me, once I'm done drawing the outline and the base shade with a 2B pencil, then I can compare it with the reference picture. If I find any mistakes, I go ahead and correct it. If not, I go ahead and use the darker values, 8B, 6B, 4B, and all those dark values. Again, I'm going to keep my reference picture next to me to help me, understand which value should go in which square. This is the part where I like to treat it in, each square respectively. So I'm halfway done using the same values that I mentioned before, which are 2B and plus and above, 2B, 3B, 4B, 5B, 6B, and all those, all the way up till 9B. I have not used any charcoal so far. I keep that for the very end. Now you have to make sure that as you draw, the lines, the grid lines, should start disappearing because you're blending, you're coloring, you're shading in, so the grid lines disappear. But if they don't, make sure you do erase them. Okay, it looks good so far. I'm still using the same values that I mentioned before. I'm also using a kneaded eraser and an electrical eraser for the highlights. And for blending, I'm using a brush and my paper stumps or blending stumps. Okay, so it's coming together, and it looks good to me so far, and it looks very similar to the reference picture, of course, except that this is a bit larger version. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the final details. Final touches. And I use a fixing spray from Winsor & Newton on my finished surface. Before finishing it off with a fixing spray, I use Pastel powder and charcoal pencils to darken the values. This is the finished drawing. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Bye!